And welcome back to another episode of JP and the Beanstalk.
You bet. The energy is tremendous in the gym. Heroic, patriotic. We're going to get to talk about freaking Captain America today, Beans.
You're damn right.
Woo! Woo! USA #1. Super excited for it. Super excited for it. It's great to be here. It's great to have another episode in front of us.
Always.
Yeah, we're firmly out of winter, and as soon as I say that, it will snow in the springtime. But you know what? Even when it does, we know it's going to melt. It's not going to stick around very long. That's right. We are firmly in the Midwest shenanigans. So just got to embrace it.
It is what it is.
Got to embrace it.
The weather, she's fickle.
Quite fickle. Baseball is back. It's great. World Baseball Classic is here. I'm soaking it in. Spring training baseball has begun. It's just such a magnificent time of year. Pretty soon we're going to have March Madness. Like next time we pod, really, we'll be right on the cusp.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's great.
You know what else is on the cusp? Daredevil. Born Again, season 2.
I know. Oh, it's coming in hot. Coming in zesty. Well, we're pumped to be here. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. We will once again recap the news and notes that we've not yet had a chance to talk about from the last couple of weeks. We've got a real live Lanterns trailer, Beans.
It happened.
Hi-oh.
Not at the Super Bowl, but it happened.
Happened.
On a random Tuesday.
Yep. And just when we thought we were done talking about Warner Brothers being sold, guess what? We're going to talk about it again because those rascals went ahead and said, just kidding, Netflix, we got ourselves a better deal. And they actually did. So we'll touch on where some of those billions are coming from and going. And then, of course, we will continue our march through the MCU round number 2, phase 2, with Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Super stoked to dive into that glorious cinematic work. And we will wrap things up with another classic JP and the Beans top 5. So without further ado, Beans, with a Lanterns trailer this week. Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, a ring, a lantern, singular. What'd you think of the first trailer? The first actual, real, live, hey, it's coming out in August, 5 months from now, trailer.
It's different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to feel about it, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
I know they said they were going to go on the detective thriller route. I
think they meant it.
They definitely meant it. It feels like an old Western out of all things. And for Green Lantern, I have lots of questions.
Yep.
And maybe that's a good thing rather than a bad thing. I am loving the guy playing Jon Stewart.
Sure.
That guy's going to crush it.
Yep. Aaron Pierre is, that voice is something. that is something. That man's going to have work no matter what, just on account of his voice. What must that be like, by the way, to just speak and it's like instantly you're hired for anything.
I sound like a mascot, so what do I know what that's like? It is so deep. And it is just like
deep and yet clear.
Oh, yeah. Jealousy, for sure.
100%.
Yes.
Yep.
The amount of testosterone he has just coursing through his veins to have that low.
I think there's some excess in a good way.
Yeah. So he's going to crush it. I haven't seen him in anything, by the way. This will be my first experience with him. I'm pumped. I'm over the moon. This is great casting.
Yeah.
Hal Jordan seems like a real curmudgeon. If that's the word that we want to use, which I can't. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
He looks like he's going to be great too. So the dynamic is there.
Correct.
What does this have to do with space? I don't know.
We really don't know.
They really leaned into the alien aspect though when it came to the rings and when it came to the lantern, which.
As far as like the design.
Yeah. Not a bad take. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just like I'm expecting the old Prospector Lighthouse lantern per se. So the suits are real. That was also interesting. I'm hoping that when
as opposed to a ring generated. Yeah.
Right. And I'm hoping for instance, when Hal is flying away.
Yep.
I'm hoping that in the actual show, there is some green aura and he is full in the Green Lantern suit instead of just flying away in a jacket.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes. But no indication of a villain yet either. We just know that they're searching for something. So
they are being extremely, not extremely guarded, let's say, with what it is that they choose and not choose to show. I mean, everything that we have had the opportunity to see in regards to this show is being cut out of the same, probably just the same freaking episode. Like the same, maybe 20 minutes of the same episode. You think of that still image that we got of Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, right, of Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre months ago. Like, was that a year ago? It was a long freaking time ago that we saw that shot of the two of them walking down the road. That's all we really see in the trailer, essentially, is an extended look at that. They're wearing the exact same clothing the whole time. The whole time. So now, per usual, I don't mind it when shows are, whether it's a show, whether it's a movie, by all means, keep the good stuff, keep the meat under wraps, right? Because the whole point of marketing isn't to actually tell us what the story is. The whole point of marketing and trailer as a extension of that marketing effort is to generate interest and get people to watch. So now, that's a question. Does this trailer create any new viewers from those that are outside of the comic book genre as a personal preference? Right? Like, does average viewer see that trailer and go, ooh, I'm intrigued? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that question. It's just an open question in my mind.
I think if it does, it's kind of a tease.
Yeah.
Because that's not Green Lantern. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's what I mean, though. Like, they're not trying to market it towards a like a pre-existing Green Lantern fan. Like, they're marketing it as a murder mystery, buddy cop. There's the tension dynamic.
But for the average person to be like, ooh, a detective show.
Right.
And then to go in and then halfway through it's space cops. I think that's quite a jarring change is what I mean
I gotcha.
by that.
I'm with you.
'Cause
yeah, I don't know. I do think, so my overall takeaway for the trailer, I was so hungry for Lanterns content that I was pumped to see the trailer. Is it an extraordinary trailer in and of itself? I don't think so. No. It shows very little. What it does show, I think Aaron Pierre is the obvious standout. I mean, the dude drips Jon Stewart, right? All the way. Kyle Chandler is Hal Jordan. This is kind of a rude take, but this is like the Zack Snydering of Hal Jordan, right? Where Zack Snyder put his own personal twist on different characters and their origins, or at least who they were when we got to interact with them in his Snyderverse. Like, we got old Batman. Now we're getting old Hal Jordan. And it's kind of, it just sticks out to me. It's like, okay, well, that's a choice.
Yeah,
That's a choice. I still don't feel great about it. And I say that, and I enjoyed Kyle Chandler's presentation of Hal Jordan in this trailer. Like, I was entertained by it, and I was going, wow, again with the why. Now, there is all kinds of opportunity for that to be explained and perhaps be a satisfying answer to the question. But I remain unconvinced.
well, and that was kind of what they said was going to happen too.
Yes.
When their personalities would be shifted the other way around. I didn't feel that way though with John, with the little bit that we got with John. That felt like Jon Stewart to me.
Yeah, I didn't
for the
see
most
any
part.
departure for Jon Stewart there.
How it just feels like they turned up the douche a lot. Like, this guy has clearly seen a very crazy amount of things in his day.
Yeah.
That's what it's feeling like. And so he's just
And
kind of
gotten older but hasn't matured.
No.
Like, there are people like that where it's like you got older but you didn't mature on your way up the aging ladder.
I can't wait till they throw Guy in here.
Right?
That Hal is going to have zero patience for Guy Gardner.
gosh.
Guy Gardner's going to get punched in the face real quick.
Yeah. No question. I think, okay, so one other observation, then we'll get into one or two takeaways here. It is fascinating. You mentioned the suit and how it's not generated by the ring as far as we've seen in this presentation. What a fascinating just swing from one side of the pendulum to the other, right? Of cartoonish. Everything is generated by the ring in the infamous Ryan Reynolds film, Not Your Fault, Ryan, to now it's like we're not showing any CGI. None. As a matter of fact, we're in the freaking West. Like, everybody's wearing cowboy hats. We're barely showing the ring. There's a glimpse of the lantern. Like, it gives me a chuckle.
And yet you have Guy Gardner in the Superman movie flipping people off with hand constructs as they just pop out of nowhere.
Yeah. So that dichotomy is not, or juxtaposition rather, is not lost on me. I thought from a story perspective, what was revealed that was most noteworthy was when John was asking Hal about Hal's interactions with the Green Lanterns, and Hal essentially saying, I don't talk to them. I don't interact with them. That was my takeaway. Maybe the line that we saw is taken out of context, and that's not actually what's communicated. But I'm just going to run with it here in the trailer. It's making the trailer is presenting Hal Jordan as essentially, yes, he's a Green Lantern, but no, he is not in good standing. No, he is not in consistent contact with the Green Lanterns, nor do they probably care that much for him. It seems like a mutual dislike. It's like, yeah, technically we're on the same team, but you just stay in Earth, bud. Like,
may explain why he's pissy.
Could be.
Could explain pretty much why he's pissy.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's interesting too, because it also leaves us, we have no idea where Guy falls on that spectrum either from the Superman movie. So I will be curious to see their dynamics. And I also want to know, did John just get picked?
Right.
Or is Hal like picking him to be like, take my ring, I don't want it anymore, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
They don't really go too much into it.
No, all we've seen so far is a singular ring. Uno. Like both in the still image and in the trailer. So it doesn't give the impression that I guess I don't know what the takeaway is, right? Like, how are they connected as trainer and trainee in terms of Green Lanterns if John doesn't even have his own ring at that juncture? Well, the mechanics are very mysterious to me.
In Green Lantern lore, like, it's the Green Lantern picks you.
Yes, exactly.
And it does not, it probably did pick John, but it's not feeling like that off the rip.
Right, it should be that way, but you're 100% right. It doesn't feel that way. Interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it's different. This feels like a different take, and I'll be curious to see how it plays out, because who knows, when we watch the show two episodes in, that might not be the case at all. It might feel exactly how we want a Green Lantern show to be. So
my guess is this, okay? My hunch is that part of the mechanics that are going to be revealed is that each Green Lantern is tasked with training up their eventual replacement. That is my guess. So not just Hal Jordan in particular, but Green Lanterns in general. Where that breaks down a little bit, of course, is, well, Guy Gardner's a Green Lantern, so was he, like, what are his and Hal's professional relationship and dynamic? Did one train the other, or vice versa? I don't know, but I could see one of the earlier episodes, if not the early episode, where you have Sinestro, still a member of the Green Lanterns at this point, telling Hal, hey, you got to train up this dude. Why? Well, in case you die. I'm not going to die. Just do it. And so it's kind of a forced, it definitely has the feel of a forced relationship, right? Like, they haven't chosen this. So there is some exterior influence, right, that is insisting that they work together, because there's no common ground. There's no shared, experience here that's going, oh yeah, our paths just happened to cross and we linked up, because they've referenced, they being the producers, have referenced True Detective multiple times, like, hey, this is True Detective, but with Green Lanterns. Well, in True Detective, Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson were both cops already, partners working together. That doesn't seem to be the case here, at least. We'll see. Pretty fascinating. Here's my question for you, okay? Because I had this thought, and it was a thought tied immediately to you and part of our conversations about the Peacemaker show, okay?
Oh boy.
What are the odds that what's going on in this little podunk western town, are we bringing back freaking alien butterflies again?
Don't say that to me. That's not even funny. That's not funny at all. No, they're all dead, aren't they?
There's a really good chance
I thought all of them were
that
dead.
there is
minus
another alien infestation. I got those vibes real strong. Yes, the alien butterflies are allegedly all dead, but just saying.
Don't you put that evil
I'm
on
just
the
saying.
body.
There it is. There it is.
I'm not gonna say, is it an alien infestation, or have they said anything about like a murder spree?
We saw bloodstained grass, ambulance, blood being washed off in a whether that was like I don't know, like a crime, like a CSI setup, right, where they're investigating, examining a deceased body.
Oh, and then we had Hal Jordan in the box interrogating somebody, which was phenomenally hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah, I if they're smart, they're gonna lean away from the alien infestation.
They're not gonna peacemaker it
as a whole.
Yeah.
Well, they'd be retreading, just with different protagonists per se. So I would rather it just be one alien on a murder spree.
Yep.
Or like you suggested, it possibly the Black Hand is getting thrown in here at some point, which feels really early for him, but here we are. I don't know. Do you throw in the original Manhunters into this, and it's just like a life model decoy kind of thing? Instead of just True Detective, it's Westworld, with the robots.
There you go.
I've never seen Westworld, but I just know that they have
I think
robots
you did well
and cowboys.
I think you did well there.
Thank you. So I think you lean away from the aliens.
I'm certainly not hoping for that, to be clear, but I couldn't help but, like, in that town hall scene that they're showing in particular, and with as hostile as the sheriff is to Hal Jordan's presence, like, it just feels like there's some manipulation going on here.
At this point, they would have done it 3 times because Starro, although they didn't really get too deep into the Starro realm, they just left him as a kaiju. That's 1. Yep. That's still number 1.
Yep.
Butterflies are number 2, and I never, ever want to go back to that.
No, we do not.
It's just... Aliens can do other things than just take over other people. Okay? They can do that.
They don't have to infest a human host.
Let them go after a Rancor.
There you go.
All right? Like a giant beast. I'm cool with that. That's different.
Yep.
I'm not going to be horrified and have nightmares over a giant bear-like creature mauling people. That's I'm okay with. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do here, because I go to the path of other Lantern Corps.
Yep.
And that definitely does not seem like the play here.
Right.
So I'm going to what I have knowledge of, and that's why the Manhunter thing comes in first. Maybe that's why Hal's pissed, is because he's getting replaced by decoys.
Be incredible. Here's what will be fascinating to me. And it's very possible that this thought resolves into a big fat nothing burger. But I am fascinated to see where the show starts and where it finishes in terms of the scope and the scale. Because, again, all we're being shown right now is very small scale, very small scope in terms of just the geography, right? Like, we're staying in and around or in close proximity to this yet to be named little western town, okay? Or southern town, wherever. Do we get into outer space? I'm curious.
I hope so.
I'm curious if the scope and the scale expands and or extends at some juncture. We got 8 episodes of a miniseries. I think it has to at some point. You cannot have a Lantern show and keep them grounded the entire time. It's like, just don't do it at that point. You can keep them earthbound for the majority of the time, but we've got to get to outer space. I'm not saying for the majority of the time, but in some instances. It can be a relatively brief excursion and or tease, but there has to be connectivity to the galaxy-spanning entity that is the Green Lantern Corps.
Can I just ask also, not just Oa?
Yep.
Not just Oa. I would like a couple other planets, and I feel like when they're giving the synopsis for this, the plan was to go to other planets. So I think we'll be okay. I still worry.
Yep.
Just a wee bit.
Yep.
Because what if it's just Earth and then it's like Earth 2? And I don't mean like alternate dimension. I mean like it is a planet that is almost exactly like Earth. Like in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Right.
But
I suspect, my suspicion is that we are going to get there, and that's one of the reasons why, again, from a marketing perspective, they're being so guarded with what they show. Because I think they've got those episodes and scenes and whatnot in the can, but that's not what they're ready to reveal yet. I think we're going to be waiting until July, after the Supergirl movie has come out and had its couple of weeks in late June, before we start seeing more sincere ramping up of the marketing of Lanterns.
And I'm good with that.
Yep.
I'm very much good with that.
Yeah, never in a rush here.
No.
That's not true. I was impatient for this trailer.
Well, the trailer.
I immediately lied there. I'm not in a
no,
rush.
it should
That's
been,
a lie.
Should have been in the Super Bowl.
Correct.
There's no reason. Here's the other thing that I can't believe. Okay, you drop it on a random Tuesday. Why not St. Patty's Day, where, the whole theme is green?
Yeah,
you could have waited one more week. Not that I'm like, oh my gosh.
No, I know.
St. Pat, but just the
I think
irony.
they lost control over the release because it was leaked on Twitter, like the trailer was. And so it was just the classic, well, crap, just put it out there. Which comes back to your why not the Super Bowl? They held on to it for too long. Yeah. They just did.
Hey, thank you for leaking it. I mean,
whoever you are.
Oh, how dare you leak that?
God bless you. Hey, there we go. We finally got our first real live Lanterns trailer. So that's fun. All right. Next on the news of note, Warner Brothers sold to Paramount, he said with I Am Ron Burgundy vibes. Here's what blows me away. All right. There's layers to this. The sheer lack of volume that came with this news. Like, do you remember the absolute kerfuffle that came about when it was announced that Netflix was purchasing Warner Brothers? I mean, good night, did all of the first world holier than thou, this is all we care about, folks get their
monopoly
absolute underwear in a wad over something that really doesn't, it isn't that impactful. But just back on December 5th of 2025, we had that announcement from Netflix, hey, we're acquiring Warner Brothers. And it seemed to be in the can. And the only news we knew on the Paramount side was they're throwing a fit and they're saying, no, our offer is better. And it was modestly better at the time. But then, you know what Paramount did? Paramount just went ahead and said, all right, we see your $83 billion and we raise you $111 billion. And then the folks at Warner Bros. Said, that's another $28 billion. That's pretty good. Okay.
That's just ridiculous.
Isn't that just nuts?
It's ridiculous.
It's just this week that this has become official. And here's what else is kind of hilarious. And when you're talking about $111 billion, it's like, how much does this really matter? Well, it still matters because it's still freaking billion with a B. Netflix walks away with $2.8 billion that they didn't have at the start of all this because their agreement with Warner Bros. Was dissolved. Like somewhere in that contractual language where they came to a formal agreement, Netflix now gets paid $2.8 billion as kind of a I'm sorry.
See,
Isn't that just wild? What in the world?
I hear all the
world?
$1 billion, and I'm like, that's not real money.
Correct.
It's not real.
It just
you don't have that money. If you had to go to the bank tomorrow because somebody was holding you hostage and you're like, you have to pull $4 billion, they wouldn't be able to do it. There's no way. You know how much money is $1 billion? It's insane.
It's absurd.
I'm not going to give you that breakdown. Google it.
It's more than you can use. More and not. That's an underselling. It's vastly, incredibly more than any person can use in a lifetime.
Nobody needs $1 billion.
No.
And that includes the billionaires. And they probably know that they don't need $1 billion.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just like $1 million being like a drop in the bucket and that you'd be, it's just $1 million. We can get another $1 million back. Oh my gosh. Screw that.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Anywho. Yeah, it is. It's kind of wild. And then Paramount said HBO would flush into Paramount Plus. So those two are going to just combine. So the streaming services we are still losing HBO. It's going bye-bye.
Yeah.
Now it's on freaking Paramount Plus rather than on Netflix. So.
Well, and again, the ownership is one thing. It does beg the question of when does the eventual squishing together take place, right? So the mechanics don't really change. It's just more of a who is combining, not will there be a combination. So overall, this just feels more like an annoying story to me, right? This is news that concerns billionaires. It doesn't concern us as the average consumer. I think where it was truly a more compelling story was when Netflix was the presumed buyer of Warner Brothers, and Netflix, obviously, it's well documented, has made their bones via the streaming service. And so, hey, how is it going to impact in-theater releases? I think that's why it's a quieter news note, is because it's just one theatrical studio absorbing another theatrical studio.
Yeah.
So,
well, it also makes you wonder if they are still scarred from the loss of Iron Man and the Marvel franchise. And they're like, okay, Superman just released. Give us Superman.
Could be.
And Batman.
That's actually a really great question. Like, how much did the success of the most recent Superman movie in particular, I don't know if you can even count the Batman movie from a couple years ago. It's there. Sure. It made its bank. So those are still really valuable entities. Yeah, it's a great question. Just that many billions being tossed around is
ridiculous. It's insane.
It's really silly. All right. Well, let's move on to not more expensive, but frankly, better things. MCU Round 2, Phase 2. We're smack dab, as a matter of fact, in the middle of Phase 2 with Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Sheer glory.
Feels like I was rewarded after watching that crap fest the week prior. That's really what it feels like.
Yep. So for a little context as to the crap fest that Dear Sweet Beans is referencing, that would be Thor 2, The Dark World, which came out prior to Captain America Winter Soldier. Captain America Winter Soldier was released on April 4th of 2014. Thor, The Dark World came out the tail end of 2013, November 8th. Iron Man 3 was a summer release, May 13 of 2013. And then we got, of course, Winter Soldier kicking off 2014. And it would be followed a few months later, August 1st to be precise, by the Guardians of the Galaxy. So we went from a lukewarm 2013 for the MCU. We kept the ships afloat. We didn't necessarily move. The wind was not really blowing in the sails, but we were there. Okay, we're on the boat to, now we're hauling with Captain America Winter Soldier and, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy. I think a fun question to ask is, how important was this movie? I didn't appreciate it at the time in this particular context, but how important did Captain America Winter Soldier as a movie end up being for the sake of the MCU? So hold that, because before we get into it, as you know, one of my favorite things to do is to give us a little recap on, hey, what are some other great movies that came out in 2014? Okay, so let's touch on those real quick. The Transformers movies were still coming out. Transformers Age of Extinction.
Number 4.
Remember that word billion? It crested $1 billion in the worldwide box office. So good for it.
Not crazy. It Transformers.
That's absolutely wild. The last Hobbit movie, Battle of Five Armies, came out. That was second in the worldwide box office. Hunger Games was still cranking, a little bit more germane to our interests. X-Men, Days of Future Past, came out in 2014. Yep, really good movie. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. It's actually kind of wild to me how many freaking Planet of the Apes movies have been made. Little side note, though, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is actually awesome. Like, I'm not a big Planet of the Apes guy, personally. There's plenty in the franchise that I haven't seen. That movie it's tremendous.
That's the first one, isn't it?
Second one.
Oh, I've only seen the first one.
Yeah, second one. Matt Reeves directed it. Matt Reeves, of course, now Batman fame. And he absolutely crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. It's the visuals are tremendous. The story's great. It's really, really flipping good. Andy Serkis did the motion capture for Caesar, and per usual, tremendous. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out in 2014. Andrew Garfield trying his darndest and just not being given any real support. Interstellar, Christopher Nolan's phenomenal space opera, also came out in 2014. A few others here I'll hit on real quick. American Sniper, Godzilla. That's right, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie came out. I think wasn't that the one that Alan Richardson did some motion capture for? That feels right.
That's correct.
Okay, it's not a great movie. It has a phenomenal theme song. Phenomenal.
Yes, true.
Knock, knock, you're about to get shell-shocked. It's terrific.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the first one, right?
Yes.
Yes. Actually, the first one wasn't awful.
Correct.
Second one was...
Second one was very bad.
Oof.
Very bad.
That one was tough.
Very bad. Yep. A couple others we'll hit on real quick. The Lego Movie, Edge of Tomorrow, great movie. 22 Jump Street. Hilarious. Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. God bless them. So some good ones, of course, in the year 2014. And a little further down on the box office list, but a great movie nonetheless, The Equalizer with Denzel Washington. Just classic Denzel. Chewing bubblegum, kicking butt, taking names. Oh, so dang good. But back to Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and my original question that I have not allowed you to answer. How important was this movie in your eyes for the MCU?
Well, I think it's very important in the sense of they can actually do a very serious tone movie, still have humor in there lightly, but have that serious tone and people care.
Mm-hmm.
I think after you have Iron Man for so long and he's cracking jokes left and right, which that's what I want Tony to be doing that.
Yep.
When I go to Captain America, I am not expecting that from Cap.
Yep.
I don't want that from Cap.
Yep.
I want what he gave us, which I believe we also got from Superman, is another prime example of this, where it's this confidence where there is a little humor in there because he's just pretty much just telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So being like, I mean, when he's in the elevator, for instance, so how do we want to do this?
Yep.
Like, that's
Anybody
confidence.
want to get out?
Yeah. Like, little funny.
Yeah.
But because he is shit talking a little,
Yes.
but it is from a place of, I'm going to win. Like, this is dumb. You should get out of here before we do this. Rather than, just being like, Iron Man would have had.
Not trying to be Tony.
No. 15 one-liners.
No, very much Steve Rogers.
And so it works very, very well for Cap. That's what I want. So for that serious tone to work and play out and be like, oh, we can do this. And obviously you get to Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and we go right back down the humor route.
Yep.
It makes me wish we had some more movies like this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can get down the too serious route. Captain Marvel. Dear God, that movie's awful. And that leaned too serious.
Sure.
And there was not... Carol had zero personality in that first movie.
Yep.
Steve still has plenty of personality. I love watching him interact with not just Sam Wilson, who, when we talked about Cap 4, struggled in that not having that person to bounce off of.
Right.
But he also has a lot of screen time with Natasha here. And first of all, the chemistry there.
Mm-hmm.
They don't talk about that in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of just brush it to the side and throw her at the Hulk. But I'm like, why aren't you two ending up together rather than like, because I believe in the comics they probably have or haven't at one point or another. Who knows? It's comics. They
Good
probably
question.
have,
Yeah,
but,
that's comics for you.
But you need he had a good cast around him in this as well that were also serious characters, but had their restricted banter, if you will. They didn't get off track, and it felt more real in that aspect. So
Complemented rather than dominated.
Correct.
The tone of the movie. No question.
And that's, I think, when you get into phase 3 and definitely phase 4, dear God, they lean too heavy into that humor side.
Yeah.
Where when they finally get back to serious, they go too much on the serious side. And this is like the perfect balance of that with the characters that you have in this movie.
Right.
So,
Right. I think what it all comes back to, and I love your observations there, what it all comes back to is identity, right? Knowing who the character is as well as who the character is not. And to your point, Steve Rogers is not a character that can or should have a tone of story that is as humor-driven or sarcastic as Tony Stark. Conversely, if we're going into an Iron Man movie and all of a sudden Tony Stark is really sober-minded and striving to be even-keeled and just do the right thing, it's like that we'd be disappointed.
Yeah.
Right? We're going, time out. This isn't the character that I expect or want to see. And so that is such a, it's obviously a difficult thing to do, because if it was easy, we would see it done more often across all movies, not just the movies that we're talking about on these pods with the MCU in particular. But this movie does such a great job of establishing Captain America's identity and being very content living within those boundaries for his character. And it does maybe the best job. Like, there's just no false steps in this movie. And I'm not saying it's a perfect movie, but when I say there are no false steps, there are no moments where any of the characters act out of character, or in a way that you go, well, that's kind of a weird move for that character. Instead, it's just constant establishing who those characters are and allowing them to develop as they go. One scene that stood out to me was fairly early in the movie. It's the scene, and we need to talk about this scene probably for 3 hours because it's an incredible scene, where they are early in the movie. Cap, Natasha, and the strike team are trying to take back the Lumerian Star from Batroc and his pirates. And it's near the end of that rescue mission where Cap thinks he's got Batroc beat and unconscious. Batroc rises up, tosses the grenade, and then Cap and Natasha dive into the office. And okay, they're fine because, yeah, it's early in the movie. If they can you imagine if the movie ended right there? Boom. Whoa.
I would love that.
That's disappointing.
Honest to God,
So
I would love if a movie
there's a
pulled
good
that off.
satire opportunity for some filmmaker out there. But anyway, Natasha, throughout this early going in the movie, has just been the embodiment of confidence, and almost to the point of talking down to Steve. Like, hey, I know what I'm doing. You don't need to know. And yet, when Natasha goes, okay, that's my bad, and Steve doesn't let her off the hook for it. He goes, you're damn right it is. And then he gets up and walks away. And that could right there cut and be the end of the scene. But instead, the Russo brothers give Natasha just like 2 seconds is all of FaceTime where she demonstrates that, oh, damn it. Like, she's disappointed that she has let Steve down. That's like this little, when you watch the movie for the first time, it's like, okay, yep, oh, I get it. You absorb that. You subconsciously, it translates, it works. This is the first time that scene stuck out to me in this way of, wow, that's really, really good craftsmanship when it comes to developing these characters. Because it's not just Natasha cocky and confident. They're showing and allowing growth for her character of she cares about not letting Steve down. And this movie is littered. I'm just picking that out as an example. This movie is littered with those nuances that just build and build and build to the final culmination of the movie. I mean, it's just tremendous work. So, but again, it comes back to identity, knowing who the characters are, and then drawing out a little bit more of them without straying from who they are. Natasha doesn't change. She doesn't, at the end of the movie, change into this entirely lack of confidence, no more sarcasm. Like, that's still very much who she is, but she has been allowed to develop another depth, another layer down. That's pretty dang impressive stuff.
Yeah, they do a great job with it.
Yeah. And what an unlikely pairing, by the way. Like, who are you going to partner Captain America up? How about Black Widow? Okay, sure, I guess. But it worked phenomenally well.
She goes from Tony to Cap, which
Oh,
is
geez.
complete polar opposites because she's
Jeez.
an Iron Man too.
Yeah.
Avengers, she works with all of them, and they're like, Captain America. And
Mhm.
he's like, oh, this guy does not joke at all.
No, not in the least. Not in the least. What are some particular highlights for you from this movie? I mean, there's
I mean,
plenty to pick from.
where do
but
we even start?
yeah.
The Winter Soldier. Do we start there?
Go
What a
for it.
phenomenal villain in this movie. Phenomenal. They nailed that perfectly because for the average viewer, they're not thinking that Bucky lived.
No.
Nope. They're not gonna take that scene away where he gets experimented on and be like, oh, he's coming back. Because
Correct.
I will tell you what, when I was a kid and I watched the first Avenger, I didn't remember he got experimented on.
Right.
You know what? When I just rewatched the first Avenger, it's so subtle.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
don't realize that he actually
it's kind of a throwaway.
yeah, you don't realize he actually got worked on in there. And then for freaking what's his nuts? Zola. For whatever reason, Captain America has so many villains with the last name Z.
It's
Okay.
interesting, isn't it?
So Zola is the one who gets him back and then turns him into an absolute weapon for the Russians.
Right.
But I love how Widow already knew of him a little bit, which just adds to the mystique and danger of the Winter Soldier for her to tell her story.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, so this is not just a ghost story. This guy's awesome.
Yep.
To catching the shield and throwing it back at Steve just as, if not harder, than Steve did. You have the amazing fight scene in the street with the knife and the shield.
Oh.
Phenomenal. Bucky,
The action is so good.
Bucky
every
single-handedly taking down Nick Fury
Mm-hmm.
with the freaking
Mm-hmm.
bomb off the gun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If that's a real weapon, do you know how horrifying that is?
Yep.
A magnet.
Yep. The old disc magnet bomb.
Yeah, what do you even call that?
Don't know.
Disc magnet bomb.
Hockey puck
The
or hockey something else.
the
Instead of
puck bomb. Yeah. Bang. They have just did such a good job. And on top of that, he says no words.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the dialogue.
No.
Like the absolute fear. This is probably maybe a reach in comparison, but it's kind of like when you see Vader show up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Vader doesn't need to say anything.
Just that
when,
presence.
Exactly. When
Yeah.
Vader shows up in Rogue One, for example.
Yep.
This is going to be the prime
Yep. Good
example.
No,
here.
it's good example.
And he shows up in the hallway.
Right.
As a fan watching that movie, I'm shitting my pants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, those guys are all dead. They're all dead. None of them are making it out alive. They are dying.
Yep.
Winter Soldier carries that presence as
Yep.
well. Obviously, when he gets back to being Bucky, that's phenomenal.
Sure.
But he is just an absolute unit.
Mhm.
And they go through the process of what happened to him as
Right.
well in this.
Right.
And you're just like, poor Bucky. Bucky went through the ringer.
Yeah.
So Bucky Winter Soldier is I feel the biggest takeaway here for that.
It's got to be one of the best, if not the best, retcons in all of comic book history. And part of why I was digging into the book itself there is I was trying to identify the original publication date of the Winter Soldier storyline. So Ed Brubaker gets the credit here, and he has a tremendous credits list, if you will, of written works in comics. If you want to find something that's written well on both Marvel and DC side, Ed Brubaker's your guy. But he is the one credited with bringing Bucky back as the Winter Soldier back in 2005 in the comics. And it works so well. And there are so many examples of in comics retcons being just kitschy and forced and unwise. I don't know how to really tell you why this particular retcon works better than the rest, but I do know that it works so well because part of Captain America's identity, right? Part of his core identity is always has been, always will be the man out of time, right? He feels this genuine loneliness, and when you bring Bucky into the fold, it is just punching Cap right in the soul of his core failure, which was protecting Bucky, right? Bucky dying was such a catastrophic moment for Cap that when he woke up to have to process that and deal with that, that having Bucky alive, okay, great, except I'm sorry, Bucky's been tortured, brainwashed, and twisted into this evil being who is now against Cap. That's just, I think that's what makes it so impactful just in the comics, and then of course in this movie is it's right at the attacking the core and hitting the core of who Cap is.
Well, and the retcon does such good work for Bucky as a whole too, because if you read Captain America before this, he's just a young kid.
Yep.
And he's just there to be the sidekick. They go back, they flesh him out. He is like built to be a super spy.
Yeah, he's not a child. He's a young adult, teenager, young adult, somewhere in that opaque realm. But
they make it a little less questionable.
He's not he's not the mascot. Yeah.
And he's one of them that gets down and dirty.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind that in the MCU's version of Bucky. Bucky's kind of the older brother.
Yep.
Which it still works really well
for
this because, you know, he's always looked up to Bucky when Bucky dies. And it's like, oh, you know, in a way, his hero comes back. And
it's a great liberty. It's actually a great liberty that the movies take to age Bucky up and to have he and Steve be peers rather than him be
adult Steve's mentee.
Teenager. Yeah,
exactly. This just hits harder based off their relationship because their relationship in the first movie is done so well.
Yeah,
it's one of the
strongest parts of that movie.
Correct. One of the best relationships we see in the MCU is Bucky and Cap. So it does. This movie does a phenomenal job with that character as a whole.
Yeah. The action in this movie is great from start to finish, and different characters get different times to shine. Like one of my favorite scenes is the scene where Nick Fury is attacked by the Hydra agents in the middle of Washington, D.C. Like, that's a banger of a scene. How fun it is to see Nick get the chance to flex a little bit, right?
And his car.
And the coolest SUV of all time. That's an absolute blast. I think some of the highlights for me, the action, no doubt about it, but just the fact that we're always on the edge. Like Cap is pushed so much in this movie, but what I appreciated about it as much as anything, and I can still remember being in the theater watching this movie for the first time, that opening scene with Lou Marion Starr where Cap is just taking the pirates to task was such a awesome and necessary leveling up of the character's abilities, because up to this point it had been nerfed a bit. It's like, okay, we know he's like a superior human being, right? He's got good genetics, but this was let's take the gloves off. Let's let him actually be an absolute unit, and to see him fight skillfully too. Like this is the most skillful up to this point that we have seen Cap fight. Like he's very much trying to figure it out in the first Avenger movie. In the Avengers movie, okay, he's looks like he's trained a bit. He's got a little more going on, but it also just kind of felt like he's barely not getting killed out there with all the aliens.
Well,
and then in this movie, he's a freaking force.
I think the beautiful thing that they did in this movie is they added the right amount of power to his punches.
That's exactly right.
There's nothing more satisfying for me than watching Captain America kick a man off a boat that's like...
Correct.
And by the way, they're not on the edge. Like, they are touching the interior of the boat.
Feet away from the rail.
He's just gone. Totally. Or putting them into a wall.
Yeah.
I mean, they have this guy flying out of a helicopter without a parachute into the ocean. They have him jumping out of an elevator. 20 stories?
Yeah.
30 stories?
Yeah.
Just using the shield as a protection.
Yep. Just taking a beating.
Takes a
The number of tasers that he takes in the elevator scene.
Takes a plane down single-handedly with his shield. One freaking rotator gone with the shield, and he dismantles the rest of it by himself on a motorcycle.
It's awesome. It's freaking sweet.
It's this movie, after watching it again, and it's been a while since I've watched it.
Yep.
I did not appreciate Captain America as much as I do right now. Like, I'm like, oh, I see why Cap is like right up there with Iron Man.
Yep.
Like I always knew, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, now I'm like, for me though, he's up there now where I'm like, I love Captain America.
But it's absolutely necessary. Like you have to let him be a unit. You have to take the kid gloves off and let him just dominate. You just do.
Yeah.
You just absolutely do because, and think of how critical it is for all that comes later that includes and incorporates Captain America during the the burgeoning MCU. It's like he has to be capable, and not just capable, but exceptionally capable and skillful and clever. And he's allowed to be all these things. Like that's what's so incredible about the action is it's not just aesthetically impressive. It embodies his character, right? It's an outpouring of who his character is. It's not just, oh, that's a cool fight scene. It's when you see his style of fighting, it's like, that is Captain America specific.
Well, also, you're like, that's a super soldier.
Yes.
And you're like, I understand why other people are going after the super soldier serum, because if that's what you get, did you see what Steve looked like beforehand?
Right.
Do you remember that?
Right.
And now he's that? Of course people are going to go after the super soldier serum.
Yep.
Sam's a moron for not taking it. No offense, Sam, but jeez.
Juice up, brother.
Like,
juice up.
But compare the scenes where it's him versus Batroc, where he drops the shield, he pwns.
Yeah, and Batroc is clearly like peak physical specimen as far as, without the juice.
But it's taken to a whole nother level when it's him versus the Winter Soldier. Two super soldiers going at it. Clear the area. These guys are going to destroy everything in the vicinity.
Totally. One of the fun things to do with watching these movies now is to even like think ahead in a couple really satisfying ways. One is what great things Sebastian Stan has done with the character of Bucky Barnes from this movie to where we are today, coming off of Thunderbolts. And obviously he had his time, his great scene in Captain America with Sam Wilson most recently. But I was also thinking of the scene in Avengers Endgame where they've gone back in time with Ant-Man, and they're in the Triskelion, and Ant-Man's going, you guys didn't know these are bad guys? They look like bad guys to the Strike Force, like Frank Grillo's character and pre-Hydra betrayal. He's like, how'd you not know they were bad guys? They look like bad. I was just thinking of that as they're all like getting into the elevator. That scene just stuck out in my mind of, oh yeah, that's a fun little nugget.
Well, and then Sam Wilson also gets good time as well.
Right?
It's it flies under the radar in this movie, but he shines really, really well.
Totally.
As well, and he's a good addition for Cap because now Cap's got a guy in his corner.
Totally.
Because he didn't have that.
No, and how important does Sam Wilson become? Because he gives Cap this sounds like so trite, but it's a sincere need for Cap. He gives Cap a human friend. Like, again, we talked earlier about how lonely, that's part of the core of Cap's character, how lonely he is. Sam fills that gap of loneliness for Cap because he's an admirer of Cap, but he's not allowing that to like get in the way of, let's just talk. Like, let's be buds. That's great. Yep. You're a unit.
And he's not a coworker.
Cool. And he's not a coworker. Exactly. He's not a peer. He's just a friend.
He's filling
that Steve desperately needs.
Yeah, he's filling the Bucky role.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
And he really is because he's giving Steve crap.
Yep.
And Steve could literally punch his head, probably clean off his body if he wanted
Steve
to.
Hasn't had that. Like, here's the thing. Steve didn't even, it's a great observation. Okay, he's filling the Bucky role. Steve didn't even have that with Bucky after he transformed, right? Think back to the first Avenger movie, and Bucky's going, I'm invisible. I'm not even noticed anymore. Like, their dynamic changed in that moment. It's weirdly enough not until after this movie and there's more time on task with each other once Bucky's brain gets cleaned out a bit that they're able to have something resembling a more normal dynamic. But it takes time for Steve and Bucky. So Sam's character is just that all the more critical in that regard. Yeah. Other pleasant surprises for me was like Robert Redford's presence.
What a pull
in this movie, right?
What a pull for
right?
Robert
How do you
Redford.
get Bob Redford in here?
Phenomenal. He was phenomenal.
He's terrific. And kudos to him because, and listen, he was at the point then, including now, but just as much then, where that guy doesn't have to be in anything that he doesn't want to be in.
Nope.
He gets to pick and choose. Yep, I'll be in that. So the fact that he chose to be in this movie is just flat out fun, and he delivered. He didn't mail it in. He brought the smoke. Like, he was terrific.
Oh,
what a great initial good guy with a tremendous heel turn. That was terrific. And he sold it.
And not just, I want to turn the world dark. Like
Yeah.
we watched in Thor. This is a guy who's like, what if we can just eliminate all the threats before they
like a relatable villain.
Yeah.
Truly.
I
Like
get
a great villain.
and it comes after he almost lost his daughter.
Right.
So
Yep.
as a father, you're like,
Yep.
yeah, I
Right.
kind of get it.
Right.
I would want to eliminate
He's got
every
that
person
personal
who's
experience.
trying to kill my daughter.
100%.
Sure.
Oh.
Now, is it clearly way too far? Yes. They're going all future state with it.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a great villain. We have the first appearance of Crossbones, who gets, well, I wouldn't say he got torched by Falcon, but Falcon does take him to task.
Mm-hmm.
And
doesn't end well
no.
for Mr. Rumlow.
And then, you have Batroc for 15
a couple
minutes.
seconds.
Yeah.
He's there. He's
But
present.
outside of Winter Soldier, it's, man, when you think about Crossbones, we kind of got biffed.
Yes.
We got biffed a lot.
Yeah, he should
on
have been. He
Crossbones.
should have been around a lot longer than his early exit that we see in Civil War.
Well, they finally give him the suit, and it's just.
Yeah, he just gone so quickly.
But I will say, as a whole, like after watching this movie, I don't really count Civil War as a third Captain America movie. It is another Avengers movie that kind of is in between Avengers movies. So I feel like we kind of got robbed from a continued story for Captain America, Steve Rogers specifically, because I wanted more after this movie. Like, okay, they're going to go out looking for Bucky. That's great.
Yeah.
Widow's off to do her own thing because it's Black Widow. She'll come back when she wants to.
Yeah.
But I look at Arnim Zola, who's also in this for a wee bit. I would have loved to see him get some cyborg-esque body and just go around town running around.
Yeah, there's so much. There is not a single character in the MCU that comes anywhere close to having left so much meat on the bone than Captain America. Because, like, pick your gap between movies. Like, I think of, and I know we've touched on this before, the gap between Civil War and Infinity War. It's like, it'd be pretty fun to see what Cap, Natasha, and Sam were up to in that interim.
Yeah, well, they're on the
before
run.
Before they sweep in and rescue, oh my gosh.
Vision and Wanda.
Thank you, Vision and Wanda.
WandaVision.
And then to your point, it's like, how about here between now and Age of Ultron, or between Age of Ultron and in Civil War? I mean, there's a lot of time on task. And Civil War is a great movie, but you're absolutely right. It's also so littered with all these other Avengers characters. It may be a Captain America movie in name, but it's an Avengers movie in its function.
Yeah. Well, and just Captain America's whole arc of not trusting, I mean, in the Avengers, he finds out that S.H.I.E.L.D.'s making these guns out of the Tesseract weapons, right? And then they go deeper down, and now he's going up against Hydra because Hydra infested S.H.I.E.L.D., and they're dealing with all of that.
Right.
You get to Civil War. He doesn't trust the government to make other decisions. Like, this is Steve's arc throughout the entirety of it. I mean, even you go through Age of Ultron 2 that I didn't mention, where he's like, Tony, you should not do this because you will take it when it comes. You don't need to protect the entire world.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You did, Steve. You needed to, okay? You lost on that one. Iron Man was right. You were wrong. I'm sorry. That's the case there.
Yep.
But
Yep.
just him dealing with that is just phenomenal.
No, and it's one of the best things that the Russo brothers bring to the table is their understanding of each character's identity. And sometimes they do this to a fault, but they love to subvert wherever the character began. As part of that progression, they like to take them to a very different, unexpected place. Because you're absolutely right. Cap starts as this bastion and champion of authority. Like, hey, let's follow orders, guys. And then he ends in this, nobody's giving me an order. I can't trust anybody. And it's fair, and it's an organic progression because, as you just laid out so well, time after time after time, the authority infrastructure that he has put his trust in continues to let him down. There are people that he still trusts, individuals, but he becomes so very selective as to who those people are, and he insists that they have to have earned his trust before he gives it. Right?
Yeah.
So like think of when General Ross comes early in the Civil War movie, and he essentially lays down the Sokovia Accords and goes, trust me, this is the right move. And Steve Rogers is going, I don't know you, essentially.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you haven't earned my trust yet, so for now, no. Not saying no to ever, but I got to have someone that I trust. And we're skipping ahead to Civil War here.
Yeah,
but
well,
it's germane to this conversation.
Yeah, but if you think about it, too, for him, like, in the first movie, it's very easy to know who the bad guys are.
Yep.
It's the Nazis.
Yep.
And now he's getting teleported in time to modern day, where the Nazis, the evil guys, are not as obvious. You can't just see them around. They're hiding in the shadows, and they're.
It's not one country against another country.
No,
it's civil wars in a sense.
It grabs for power internally.
Yeah.
And you see that in Winter Soldier with Robert Redford coming through and be like, no, I'm taking over now. So
yeah. What a delight! What a great movie! I'm so glad we have this one. It's great every time coming back to it. And no, it's not perfect. No movie is perfect, but I'm not being hyperbolic when I say there isn't a bad beat in this movie. Like, it just, as it goes, it just hit after hit, scene after scene, dialogue after dialogue. It's terrific. And I think that's its biggest strength, is knowing the identities of these characters, leaning into them. And as you've observed with different movies that have either done it well or done it poorly, that ability to establish individual voices for each character, as opposed to when a movie, it's like all these characters sound the same. And I get it. Listen, it's hard to write characters. But as a writer, when you're able to identify and project individual voices, now you've got individual characters at work, as opposed to, hey, it's your voice as the writer. That's a challenging thing to do, but this movie and the Russo brothers just do it so well. So
agreed.
Freaking sweet. Absolutely love it. Anything else on that note?
No, that's
Beans?
it.
Oh, so good. Can't wait to now move on to Guardians of the Galaxy. Woo!
We're hitting a hot streak.
We're hitting a heater, okay? To tease a little bit here, this is where the MCU, okay, this is legitimately smack dab in the middle of phase 2, because we're going to go Winter Soldier, then Guardians of the Galaxy. All right. So without further ado, let's get into another classic, JP and the Beans, top 5. Today's top 5, Beans, are our top 5 Captain America villains.
We're just on this villain streak in the top 5 range, and I kind of like it.
We are. It's a good streak to be on. We got to let the people know who to watch out for, right? Safety first, everyone.
Safety first.
Without further ado, Beans, you go first.
So Captain America villains, let's just start off with this. There is not a large margin that are worth talking about. There's not.
Very few.
So I'm going to start off with number 5 being Artem Zola.
There you go.
Just, if you think of the Captain America movies, very supportive role with Hydra and all that stuff.
Right.
I go off of the comic book look where out of all the cyborgs and robots that we get, I don't think I've ever seen one outside of Zola where it is a giant plasma TV screen.
Right.
And he's just, instead of at the head, he is taking up the chest area. Like, he is absolutely comic book ridiculousness.
Yes.
In a whole.
Yes.
And I love that.
It's great.
I love it because you're like, I know who that is. He sticks out.
Can't miss him.
And it's just design-wise, albeit campy and stupid,
can't miss him.
He sticks out, and
100%.
it makes him memorable. It's like MODOK. Giant head, little legs and arms.
Yep.
So
that's great.
With that, I've got...
That's a great number 5.
Number 5.
Such a goof.
Arnim Zola.
I wonder if part of the problem for Cap is that he's like too pure, too nice, and people are like, I don't want to fight that guy. It's like he's not hateable by a lot, right? He has his moments, right? But I just think it's more easy to dislike Tony Stark and go, I'd love to kick that guy's butt. Let's take him down.
Well, that and like, if you think about it, when Cap was, in the 40s, those evil people were very evil.
Yes. Transparently evil.
So it made it very easy to be like, oh, those are the bad guys.
Yeah.
Kind of like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, anyway, I digress. My number 5 is Hydra. No, not a single person, but as an entity. So I'm fudging the rules here. But again, we make our own rules, so I fudge away.
We've done Court of the Owls.
That's
before.
exactly
This
right.
works.
That's exactly right. Hydra as a entity is probably the single greatest group threat that Captain America deals with and has dealt with on a consistent basis. Whether you want to go back to the 40s and their origin with the Red Skull in World War II to the modern day where, darn them, they're still out there, and darn him, Red Skull's often still out there as well. Hydra tends to be a constant thorn in Cap's side. My number 4 is Baron Zemo. There's just not a lot of guys out there that have Baron in the name, right? And the dude wields a sword. That's fantastic. And actually a really good, organic, kind of natural physical opponent to Cap, right? Shield, sword. Okay. Kind of makes me wish that Cap had picked up a sword at one point. Right?
Yeah,
that'd be kind of fun. Like, not all the time, but just on occasion, right? Like when Zemo shows up, like, fair enough. You got your sword, I got mine. But that's my number 4. Baron Zemo.
Fair. My number 4 is the man who actually took Captain America off the board for a little while. I have Crossbones.
Yes, he
and
did.
I'm not going to lie to you. That is primarily why he's number 4, because
But it's a good reason.
Took the man down.
Yeah.
He took him off the board, off the map. He's dead. He forced Bucky Barnes in the role, which, by the way, you literally got the scarier of the two as the replacement. That was actually a stupid assassination for you to end up doing, Crossbones. Like, awful. But I also find it hilarious because I played, like, in Civil War, he blows up and dies. He just bombs himself.
Goodbye.
I remember playing a phone game with him as it, and that was his, like, final move, was just him blowing himself up, which is phenomenally
very
hilarious.
on brand. Okay.
Hilarious.
At least we know what to expect from our guy Crossbones.
But yeah, he's usually paired up with Red Skull's daughter too, right? Which is, dude,
Crossbones and Sin.
What's up with your taste in women? That is horrifying.
Poor to very poor.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So number 4, Crossbones.
It's a great 4.
Number
3?
3, I have Zemo as well.
There you go.
So my main win over from Zemo was Civil War and Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
When he comes back, because he is phenomenal in that show. He
Very
is
good
the
point.
Highlight
Very good
of
point.
that show.
He's tremendous.
He's one of the very few villains in the MCU we actually see win. This guy wins against the Avengers. And I just remember the scene too where he starts unlocking the Winter Soldier back and he's starting to say the codes and you're in the movie theater, like, no, don't. You're like, and he just goes, railroad. And you're like, railroad? No! You think they just added that because that's where he fell off? Because that's just hilarious and horrifying at the same time. But Zemo is just, like, awesome. And I wish they would have show off the purple, like, mask more and dive deeper into him, because I know in the comics for a little while doesn't he lead the Thunderbolts?
Yep.
For a little bit as well. So
yeah, he has his come-ups. Truly.
He also has his come-downs.
Yeah.
But and I know there's 2 Baron Zemos, whatever, but I got Zemo at 3.
That's great. My number 3 is Crossbones. There's gonna be a lot of overlap here, but Rock Rumlow, like I love. Now he kind of cheats here, and I wish this would be called out in the comics a little bit. He kind of does an evil Punisher look, right?
He does.
It's a very, very similar, if not identical, color scheme. Also, he calls himself Crossbones, so there's bones involved, and the Punisher has the skull. So it's like, at some point, shouldn't those two guys actually get after it a little bit? And shouldn't Frank Castle step in and go, no.
You'd think.
You look too much like me.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
How dare you kill Captain America? Bang.
How dare you, right? Yeah, because Frank Castle's character in the comics adores Steve Rogers. Like, just absolutely will do anything he says. If Steve Rogers were to tell Frank Castle, go jump in front of the train, Castle would go, just tell me which one, my guy. I'm doing it. So that's Crossbones at number 3. My number 2 is actually the Winter Soldier. Now, cheating again? 100%. I'm fudging the rules again. But again, don't really care a whole heck of a lot because of the impact that character has during his time as a villain on Captain America. Obviously, he doesn't have the endurance over decades, but he is just a tremendous, when Bucky Barnes is presented as the Winter Soldier, the impact that it has on Cap is so pronounced that the only reason he's not at number 1 is because it's a relatively brief period, and there's obviously a redemption arc that comes in there. But Bucky Barnes as the Winter Soldier, while before he is redeemed, is such a peak Cap villain. So that's my number 2.
My number 2 is the Red Skull, because Red Skull might be the most evil Marvel villain that we have.
I mean, he's just a redheaded Nazi.
Yeah.
Just bad.
Yeah, very bad.
Just very bad.
And he wanted to betray the Nazis.
I don't mean redheaded as in ginger.
Yeah,
I mean,
no. Bloody
down to the
skull head,
yep.
Yes.
Yep, thoroughly earns the moniker.
Yes. But do you know how evil you have to be to betray the Nazis?
Yeah, pretty bad.
And, beat them?
Pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
To even put this into more perspective,
Mm-hmm.
he crosses over with the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
And the Joker finds out he's a Nazi. He's like, you're a Nazi? I'm not going to work with you, and turns on the Red Skull. If that doesn't put it into perspective, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
So,
Correct.
There you go.
Correct.
Red Skull at number 2.
That's when you know it's bad.
And my number 1 is the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, all right.
So I don't think that's a cop-out at all.
Okay,
It goes back to the last one we did with Gore having his little inkling in time and how impactful it is on Thor.
Yep.
That's where the Winter Soldier lies.
Yep.
And yes, they've since
Yep.
made him into an anti-hero, and it's a very good spot for Bucky to be in.
Right.
But at the origin of it and in that window of time, I think he's the villain that has the highest impact on Captain America.
Yep.
Look, Red Skull is the true embodiment of evil. Is he probably the number 1 Captain America villain? Sure. I would give you that on any given day.
Yep.
However, he does not have the emotional impact that the Winter Soldier has, and I think that just puts the Winter Soldier over the Red Skull for me.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. For me, my number 1 is the Red Skull, but I love that the Winter Soldier's number 1 for you. Now I feel kind of like a coward for not going Winter Soldier at number 1, but I guess I deserve it because I put Red Skull at number 1. So he's everything you just said. Pure evil, Nazi, and betrayed the Nazis. He's as bad as it gets. And my only wish is that, we talked earlier about all the meat on the bone of, hey, Cap stories that we haven't seen and didn't get. How about more Cap against the Red Skull? Like, let's have more Red Skull and like more bad Red Skull, evil Red Skull.
Yeah.
We just didn't get a lot of that either.
No,
but
we didn't. That was the one downside of that first Captain America movie is we just didn't
took Red Skull right off the board.
Unfortunately, it's hard to say that you want more of the Red Skull.
Yes.
But
yes,
in that weird sense of like, I think you just want him to get his ass kicked more.
Correct.
I think that's the best way
to see him lose more often.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. That's fantastic. Beans, another great top 5. Great job.
Nailed it.
Anything else for the good people?
No. Go to the YouTube. We're doing polls now.
Heck yeah.
We're doing polls.
A lot of fun.
Yes, they are fun. We had, I just did one on the Green Lanterns, and we had a lot of feedback on that. Most a good
Yep.
majority of people
Thor
are
Villains
excited.
was a lot of fun as well.
Yes, and then
Yep.
we had going to our other successful one with what was the worst Thor movie? You know what's surprising to me? Thor 2 beat out Thor 4. I thought Thor 4 for sure would beat out Thor 2.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some fondness there for Thor 4 that I can't personally relate to, but okay.
My vote
You
went
know?
to Thor 4.
Yeah.
Because yes,
Right.
I do vote on my own polls, so leave me alone. But
how can you not?
exactly. It's fun. We're participating.
That's great.
So, yeah, go check
Participation's
out
fun.
the YouTube
That's great.
Magic Beans Productions there and participate.
Yeah.
So,
We love the interaction. It's it's phenomenal.
so
It's
that's
great.
all I have.
I love it.
You good?
Take us home.
On that note, Godspeed.
Peace.